Hi, in this video we show Refine. The name means rest from code and INferred Enhancement. I am André Rincon and this is joint work with Oliver Senzi. Refine is an open source tool. It uses language model agents to make an OpenAPI document map the API source code and to add helpful examples to it. You give it a spec file and, if you want, the source code. It gives back a better spec file plus a report that lists the differences. The main users are API developers and teams that build tools from the spec. This is the Refine page on GitHub. The tool is open source on the MIT license. The README shows how to install it, how to set up, and the two ways to run it. The first way uses only the spec file and adds examples to it. The second way also reads the source code and checks the spec against the real code. Refine works only by reading files. It never calls the running API. To install it, you run one pip command, copy the env file, and set your API key. Let's run Refine in full mode on the restcountries API. I give the original spec file with the API spec flag. I give the source code file with the API source flag. And I chose the model with LLM model flag. While it runs, you can follow each step in the log. First, Refine reads the spec file. Then, one agent reads the source code and finds every endpoint and the status codes it can return. Another agent compares the spec with the code. Then, the tool adds example to each endpoint. At the end, it checks the new spec against the OpenAPI roles and fixes small problems on its own. When it is done, Refine shows the output files, the new spec, the differences reports, and a file with the token usage. Now let's look at one endpoint get v1 alpha. On the left is the original spec. The parameter codes has no example, and the response shows on 200 and get all default. On the right is the file from Refine. The parameter now has a real example, US, CA, NX, and the response now shows 4 concrete codes, 200, 400, 404, and 500, and the full is gone. The 200 response also has a full example body, a list of countries with real data, name, region, population, and country codes like US and CA. These values come from the API topic, which is country data. There are no empty words like string. Refine also adds this block called the X parameter example. For the 200 case, it gives 2 examples, a typical one with US, CA, MX, and an edge case with just AD. For the 400 case, it gives 3 examples, one with an invalid type, one with an empty value, and one with a null value. The same pattern repeats for 400 and 500. These examples are on suggestions. The developer is free to change them or add other examples at any time. The report makes every change easy to check. The table at the top groups of endpoints into 5 types. Let's look at one example v1 alpha under the red code mismatch group. The spec had only 2 responses, 200 and the catch-all default. But the real code can return 4 codes, 200, 400, and 104, and 500. So Refine removed the default placeholder and add the 3 missing codes. Each line like this is clear task. The developer can check if the code is right or if the spec needs to change. To sum up, Refine fixed the OpenAPI document before any tool reads it. It removes wrong status code, added missing endpoint, and fills in real examples. The result is a spec file that other tools can actually use. The code and the docs are all on GitHub. Thank you for watching.